Hello, Facebook world. This is my very first time going live from my computer, and I'm super excited because I've got a lot to show you. What I'm going to be doing right now is making a juice, and this right here is my juicer. I got it from Groupon probably 4 years ago, and the reason I got it, one, was because I had a ton of Groupon gift cards, and you can, obviously spend it on anything, and it was a great price. I think it was $60. That was the first reason. The second reason, I was thinking, I'll do a juice cleanse. People lose tons of weight juicing, right? And so at that point, that was one of my low moments in my life where I was also taking some diet pills, basically trying anything to lose weight to feel more confident in my own skin. Obviously, none of those things worked, but this was one of my methods. So at that time, I tried to do a 5-day juice cleanse. I made it 3 days where I had juice for, I think it was breakfast, lunch, snack, and then I had an actual dinner. So really one meal and then 3 of these a day. And I was going to the gym and I was on an outdoor soccer league. So I was doing a ton of activities and not eating much at all. And guess what happened? I didn't lose weight. I wasn't feeding my body with the nutrients that it needs in order to burn fat. Instead, I was eating so little that it was storing fat. So that was me, 4 years ago. And when I moved here to Batavia, I realized that I hadn't juiced anything in a very long time, probably 2 years. And my mom said, if you don't use it, throw it away. And I was like, okay, if I don't use it in 3 months, I'll throw it away. And I actually moved in August. So it's been over 3 months. But what inspired me to actually finally get back into it is I ran into these juices at the grocery store, and they looked so good, and I was like, wait a second, I can actually make all of this for cheaper. So I did get a couple bottles because I wanted it right then and there. But I'm going to be using this to make my own juices now. And so today, right now, I'm going to be using, actually let me show you what we'll be using. So we've got 5 celery. I'm going to be using 2 beets. They're already peeled and everything, so I just have to take them out. 3 carrots and 1 apple. So the cool thing about juicing, and strawberries. These strawberries are actually, I don't know if you can tell, they're really, they look okay in there. But they're crinkly and old, and I almost threw them away. And then I was like, actually, they've still got nutrients, so why not? Okay, so juicing is super easy. To start, you guys won't be able to see this, but I just cut the edges of the carrots off because I don't want the root of it in there. Hey guys, thanks for hopping on. So excited to be doing this. It's been so long. And then I chop up the carrots into bits and pieces, about this size. I could throw the whole carrot in there. I'm just terrified of, hey Sarah, I'm just terrified of it jamming and then coming up at me, and it's super loud. You guys will hear it in a second. So I try and cut it as small as I can, even though you don't really need to. Especially big carrot pieces like that, the big chunks. All right. Have you guys ever juiced anything or had a juice? There's so many places in California when I visited my sister that had juices. And acai bowls, tons of stuff. It was awesome. Okay, here are the carrots, and I'm just going to pop them in. So what you do, this thing comes out, and we just put all of the fruit, oh sorry, it got really dark, right in the top. Jamba juice. I don't know if that counts, Sarah. Do they have fresh juices there, or is it just smoothies? All right, let me get something so that it has something to pour into. All right. So we've got the carrots in there, and I do one thing at a time because it does sort of jam. Plug your ears. I'm going to turn it on and start juicing. So that was the carrots. Perfect. So 3 carrots made that much, a little less than a half a cup. But we are just getting started. That is just the first ingredient. So next, I have celery. I like celery because calorie-wise, it's like 0. And there's not too much of a flavor, and there's tons of water in these. So when you're juicing, it's great to add like celery or pears because it just makes it more of it, and it makes it more filling. So first, rinse off all of the dirt. And then same thing here. I could put the whole stalk in, but then you kind of have to feed it into the thing. So I'm just chopping up all of these. So they're about this size, little sticks. And here we go. And I've got 5 of these, so hopefully it'll add a lot of juice. We're going to do it in sections. That was half. So here we are now. We are now up to about 1 cup just from the celery and carrots. Okay, almost there, you guys. Next up, we've got the apple. So this, I like to cut in quarters just because I don't want to risk any seeds getting in there. Technically, seeds shouldn't go through, but you never know. So I quarter them and remove the centers. Thanks for joining, guys. And you know what? I'm going to cut it even smaller. So I'm going to cut it into 8ths. So here are the apples. Apples are very flavorful and they've got lots of water. So these are great to add into juices. Shouldn't be doing it so close to my orchid. All right. All right, next up is some strawberries. And these are really, I actually don't know how good they're going to be. They're like squishy because they're so old. but I figured it can't hurt. And can you get sick from strawberries, like old strawberries? Hopefully not. But just in case, I'm going to do just a few. Okay, we'll do 5. So I've got 5 here. And then at the same time, since those don't take up too much space, we're going to do the beets. So beets are, oh my gosh, I love beets. And I never really had them until, like, after college, I think. I was introduced to them. And they're so fresh and so good. They do stain, though, so be careful. And I'm probably going to stain myself right now, because I always do. So I'm just going to add 2 beets. I think each one is maybe 30 calories. Not too sure. Honestly, I don't count calories anymore. Before Beachbody, I counted everything, every calorie, you guys, and I planned it out the night before. And that got me into an awful rut of eating based on calories. So, like, I would have a brownie for, 200 calories instead of a shake that's super nutritious for 200 calories. And so my body obviously wasn't very healthy at that point. A calorie was just a calorie. I didn't care about the nutrients. So 60 calories here, I am so happy with. Last part. And here we are. We've got, once the froth settles, so it has like all the foam at the top, it's probably about 1.5 or 1 3/4 cups from all of that fruit. So what people don't tell you about with juicing, you guys, hang on a sec. They don't tell you about all the cleaning. That's just the inside. And this is cool if you like do composting, so you don't have to throw it all away, but this is all of the, like the rinds, the pulp, all of that stuff that gets taken away from juicing. So one bad thing about juicing, other than cleaning, is I think it removes a lot of the fiber from the vegetables, and fruits and all of that stuff. So it's all in here. You guys, this would take me like 3 seconds to drink because it's so good, and it's juice, right? So you can have like as much of it as you want and slurp it up and eat it super fast. So it takes a lot to prep all of it and then to juice it, and then even longer to clean it all, which I won't put you guys through. But it's worth it. If you've never had a fresh juice, try one first, just because it's definitely a different taste. Tastes totally different than juice from a bottle. I make orange juice, and the cool thing, orange juice, you need like, I think 3 oranges for a normal size glass. So if you're used to getting like those huge bottles of juices, you'd need a lot of fruit for that. But for orange juice, just plain oranges, pop them in. Harry loves it. It tastes so different in such a good way. So give it a try and go on Groupon for one of these awesome things. Which way is it? You don't need to spend tons of money on it. So here we are. I'll let you guys know how it is. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great afternoon.